Okay, this is what happens when you're multitasking. So I almost made a big boo-boo and hurt my machine because I forgot a step. So we're starting back again. I'm gonna edit that last video into that last point of starting. I'm gonna come back to that. So we've got both keys ready. Both ready, same cuts. We're gonna shut now. This machine, step by step, so I'm gonna hit cut. It's gonna show me where to put it. Got it tip gauged where it's supposed to be, locked in, good, cut. Pick what speed, I'm picking brass. Okay. I think this is where this one got me, because some of the menus will show you this. So when you are on this machine, we're gonna cancel, we're gonna come back all the way back to here. Usually it'll show you the jaw and then where the position has to be, because to move between these two, you actually do have to release, slide the whole jaw over. Whatever jaw is centered is the one that's being used. So I almost started cutting this key through this jaw. So thankfully I caught it. So snug, not super tight. It's all the way flush to the side. We're gonna try this again. So everything else is the same. Okay, timer zeroed out, cut. Everything's good, did that part. As soon as I hit brass, then it's gonna go, okay? So again, same thing, start the timer. Start. Cut. Okay, now we're going. So this one's gonna gauge. This one's gauging itself too. This one's just starting to cut. This one's been cutting for about a second. I haven't cut one of these LXP 90s with this yet. So I don't know if you can hear that. Versus this one. Okay. Pretty sure this one is, it gives you a little gauge, it's 67% done. This one doesn't give you a gauge. It just gives you the RPMs, basically, the rates, the spinning rate. It's made its first pass, just about. 1 minute, 17 seconds. This one's done with that side, this one's still going. Put this down. Swap it over. You can still hear the other machine running. This is usually the slowest key on my Condor. Okay. Still going. Ready to go. Cut. Yes. Same speed. Not even on the fastest speed. Which again, I've done the fastest speed on other keys. I can't really tell how much different it is. It's probably just microseconds. It just does that one gauge and it's ready to go. Sorry for the light. Both these machines have bright lights up in there, so it doesn't work for great videoing. We're still on side number one. This one it makes multiple passes. And I can turn those passes down, I think one more notch, so it's one more notch fast. This is probably on the second fastest speed. But I have actually broken cutters or spit keys out because it was forcing too hard. So this cutter is just extremely sharp. We're on probably the last pass on this one. I think this one is done. So before we even finish side one, we're done. Now, I wish I had a lock to test on this one. I don't at the moment. But I can tell you every key I've done with these has been beautiful and worked. My wife's high security Honda, it was just immaculate. Most buttery key I've ever used on Honda versus this one. Sometimes you have to run it a couple times to get it fully. Now my blade may be a little dull too, so that might be a little bit of a problem, but these are pretty cheap blades. They're or cutters, should I say, about $12 a piece. We're still on side one, okay? So we were probably 10 seconds ago, so less than 4 minutes for a Lexus LXP 90. This is probably gonna be double the time at least. I don't even know if I need to keep going with that one. Side one is done. It's just this particular key, it is a lot of cutting, and it's all up in the center, so it's taking out a lot of metal. So it really does just want to take its time with it. Okay. Setup is fast, and there's a lot of fast things about it, but man, did that one eat that key. I could probably cut 2 or 3 before this one's done with 1. You know? Okay, so back to here. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this. And really I could just home button it. You know, kind of jump back through those menus. While that one's still cutting, I'll show you some of the setup. You know, you come in and you do the initial setup. This is where I was initially having trouble, was in my clamp calibration, okay? So this nifty little thing has a decoder up in here. Push that button, it'll drop that little decoder down. Fold it back up. The cutters are permanently stationed there, so fold down. That little decoder right there is that's the only place it is, and it's $40 a pop. So when you break them, it's going to hurt a little bit. You know, these are $12 pop, so it's the difference. Okay, but I'll just show you some of what this does. You know, so you come in, you test your decoder, you select which jaw you want to test it on. We have this jaw centered, so you know, it'll tell you to make sure this is slid all the way over. Here it does that. Gives you all the information, so it's going to come through. It's going to do a little test to make sure, just like this, the Condor has a similar process set up at the very beginning, where it just basically gauges everything and gets to know where it is. That's my best understanding. You'll do the same thing with the end cutter. Jaw slid over. Smooth. And then I've done the same thing with all these other jaws. Slid the whole thing over. You have calibrations with everything. You can put things in inches. For the time being, this thing has a data filter. So best I can see, it takes you to a checklist of makes, models, automotive, all this stuff, right? And you can uncheck them. Like there's a lot of Chinese stuff in here, and I think German stuff in here I will never see in the United States. And the theory is you can select them and they won't show up as options anymore when you go look at your menu, so you have less stuff to look through if you're looking through. But the software is a little glitchy here, and I'll let the engineers know. You notice that's blank. It's not pulling up anything anymore, and there's no way to get that back without going back to the data filter. You can't uncheck them and see everything else is fine. There's nothing you can do. I've tried it. I've gone through it for 30 minutes. You just have to do a complete reset on that part. It resets all those settings again, and then magically delicious, everything's back. So for the time being, you just got to deal with there being stuff you may not use. Doesn't bother me because I search by the actual names anyway. So we're still. So this machine will take more than double. I think the other machine was done at like 340, 350. And we're not done at 8 minutes and 12 seconds. So first key cutting competition is a little bit embarrassing. And I will say this is the slowest one I'd know this machine to do, because it's the one I just would sit bored and wait and be done with everything else, just waiting on keys. So I had to always try to order my key making job on Alexis to where I had keys cutting while maybe I'd pull the computers or something else. So it just wasn't standing there looking at it. All right, 8 minutes, 40 seconds. This is finally done. And I guarantee you it's pretty accurate. I don't know that I've ever had issues with the LXP90 and the Condor machine. It's always cut them well. I don't know if you can make that out very well with my video. You know, let's just look at them over here. You know, I don't know if you can see much of a difference. I think this is the Condor. The cuts on this one are a little rougher looking, but it looks good. Looks the same largely, I think. So there you go. First test, Mini Condor XE Mini, should I say, against the S10, Miracle S10. A.B.E.L Locksmith out.